You know, I want to talk about something. Every single time, I've been through a lot of things in my life. And I mean, straight from the trenches, straight from the streets, y'all. Like, there was times that I was homeless. There was times that, I had nowhere to go and it was dead winter time and I was young and I was in a town that I wasn't from. I had nobody to look out for me. You know, there was multiple times where I had no idea what I was going to do. And it was to the point, where it would actually break me down into tears, especially then. And because I was so young, I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't understand how I was ever going to make it out of this. Times where I thought it was a wrap, y'all. Times where I thought there was no way that I'm going to figure this out. And, something that I realized was in my lowest times, God always made a way out. Always. That's something that you can't ever forget, y'all. I don't care what situation you are in. You have to, stop stressing it. You have to have blind faith. You have to truly submit and trust in God that He is going to make a way, and that every single thing that is going on, or every single thing that happens, regardless of what it is, whether that be heartbreak, whether that be hardship, whether that be you got kicked out of your house and you don't know where you're going to go. Everything is building blocks to form you and mold you into the person that you're going to become. You just have to have blind faith. And there was so many times that He saved my life. And what's crazy about it is I wasn't even focused on God at that time. I knew that God was real. I believed in God, but I hardly ever spoke to Him because I was young and I was running in the streets, drinking, smoking weed, doing craziness, right? Doing the most every single day. And I didn't know any better. And He found me. He met me in the trenches. I didn't even have to seek Him. And He still blessed me. He still saved my life. He still looked out for me. He still showed me grace. And that's something that you have to understand. So if He'll do it when you're not even seeking Him, when you're not even putting your all into Him, why would you ever doubt Him when you're actually locked in on Him, when you're actually focused on Him, when you're actually putting Him first, when you're doing the right things, when you're taking the right steps, when you're trying to be your best self? Why would you ever doubt Him in that season? And maybe if you do doubt Him, it's only because you haven't seen the things that I'm talking about. You haven't seen the things that I've seen. You haven't seen Him rip you out of hell. You haven't seen Him rip you out of the trenches, rip you out of the darkness when you had no way out. There was a time when I was drinking at a party and these guys begged me. Mind you, I was only like 19, 20 years old at this time. These dudes begged me. They said, RC, it's your birthday, man. It's your birthday. Come to the strip club with us. And I didn't want to go because I was only 19 or 20 at the time. And I was like, I can't even drink. Why would I want to go? I was like, I'm just going to stay here at this party, right? We had a bonfire going. Needless to say, finally, after hours and hours of them begging me to go, they talked me into it, and I got in the car. And we were driving down the street, and they're passing a bottle back and forth as we're driving. And something came over me that said, this ain't right. Something ain't right. I don't, they were just being reckless, not paying attention to the street, things like this. And as soon as I thought that, there was a voice that came over my spirit. And this voice wasn't my voice. This voice was God. And this voice said, get out. With exclamation points. Like it wasn't a joke. Like I knew that it came with authority, y'all. And I said, guys, you guys are we ain't gonna make it all the way to the next city this way, which was like an hour drive away. And they were like, oh, quit being a pussy. That's the word they used. And I was like, nah, F that, right? Let me out. And they were like, man, if you want to get out, we're going to stop right here and you're going to have to walk back. And I was like, let me out. Then I'll walk back. I don't care. Because this voice that came over my spirit was with so much authority that I knew it was something. Now when I look back, I know that it was God. But then, I thought it was God. I wasn't sure. He had never spoke to me like this, so clear. So I wasn't sure if this was the voice of God. Until I found out on the way there, they wrecked and died. They got hit by a semi, y'all. Hit by a semi. Well, the passenger died instantly. The driver was in a coma for like 4 months. And then when he woke up, he got arrested straight out of his coma and taken to jail for manslaughter of his best friend. Found out that he killed his best friend. Think about that. That's why I always say your intuition, your spirit is the authentic voice of God. And if you follow that and trust in that, it'll always lead, guide, and direct you on the mission. Wherever it is that God wants you to go, wherever it is you need to be. That's something you can't forget, y'all, because, man, I was sitting in the back seat of that car and I had no seatbelt on. I was only 19 or 20 years old. Chances of me surviving are slim there. So God literally saved me. Now think about this. I was under the influence. I was drunk too. So imagine if I allowed these guys that were driving, because they were older, to influence me and me look over that voice that I heard. I wouldn't be here. There were so many times that God ripped me out of a situation, man. Like I said, I've been through crazy stuff, and that's why I feel like one day I'd like to get on a podcast and truly give a testimony. Because there's just so much stuff that I have witnessed that is unreal, that God has shown me, that left me with no doubt, no question that he was real, no question that he was there, that he gave me grace, even when I was being a rebel. Because one thing you got to remember is in the Bible, God's chosen ones were the rebels. They were the ones that were acting wild. They were the ones, that were the outcast, the black sheep, the least likely. He loved using those people. Why? Because we're built different. We're unbreakable, unshakable. You have to remember that every hardship that we've been through, that the fact that we came from so much adversity is the very reason he's going to use you for greatness. Too much is given, much is required. That's one of the realest verses in the Bible. Too much is given, much is required. That means that, it's going to require a lot from you. But that's only because of how blessed you are and are going to be. Like, you have no idea the plans he has for you. So you just got to keep your head up, stay locked in, and have faith, even in the quiet season. Because there's going to be a season where it seems like you might not be hearing from God. And that's him testing your faith, testing that blind faith. It's easy to believe in him when he's right there. But he wants to see how you're going to act, how you're going to move if he's not constantly there holding your hand. See, if you're a leader, if you're a chosen one, you got to be able to lead yourself sometimes. Why? Because you're supposed to lead others. So God is going to be there to help lead you, but he wants to make sure you can be a leader too. He puts you through all this hardship to mold you into that diamond. Never forget that, y'all. So I love y'all. Keep your head up. Have a great weekend. I'll try to drop another one. Hopefully another one this weekend. And, you guys are my family, man. Never forget that. The chosen ones, we all stick together. We've all been through hardships. We all know what it's like to be the black sheep, right? And just know that you got the greatest king by your side. And that when you're led by a king, you'll become a king. So allow him to lead and learn how to be led and learn how to be that leader, because you're going to have to lead others as well. You're going to have to be that light in the darkness. Stay focused, stay positive, stay blessed. I'll see you on the next one. Salute.